Imagine this. You're yawning during the hero's 3-minute monologue about the power of friendship and the necessity of forgiveness, only to feel a visceral, electric jolt of adrenaline the moment the antagonist enters the frame. The villain arrives with a smirk that says they've already set your expectations on fire. They are ruthless, they are unburdened by social etiquette, and they possess a terrifying, crystalline clarity of purpose. In that moment, your polite society mask slips. You aren't just watching them, you are breathing with them. You love them, not because you are a monster, but because they are the only ones on the screen who look like they are actually free. Have you ever wondered why you root for the one who burns the world down, while the one trying to save it makes you want to check your phone? There is a truth that Carl Jung, the Swiss architect of the human abyss, understood with haunting precision. We do not love villains for their cruelty, we love them for their wholeness. You spend your entire life building a persona, a vector-animated cardboard cutout of a good citizen. You say please at the self-checkout, you smile at colleagues you'd rather catapult into the sun, and you repress every primal urge toward power, selfishness, or raw aggression because you've been told that to be good is to be harmless. You have turned yourself into a domesticated pet, a low-resolution version of a human being. But the shadow, that dark muscular twin standing in the basement of your subconscious, is not dead. It is merely starving. When you look at a villain, you are performing a psychological act of projection. You are taking all those repressed, evil qualities you've locked away, your ambition, your anger, your need for dominance, and projecting them onto a cinematic screen where it is safe to play with them. Projection is a powerful drug because it allows you to experience the intoxicating power of your own darkness without having to pay the social tax of actually being a villain. It is a sedative for the soul, allowing you to feel powerful by proxy while you remain safely subservient in your real life. Stop for a moment and look at the hero archetype through the cynical lens of Machiavelli. The hero is a slave to the collective. Their power is conditional, tied to the approval of the masses and the preservation of a status quo that often keeps people like you small and manageable. They are the ultimate nice guy of the mythological world. The villain, however, has achieved a state of absolute volition, as the Stoic Epictetus would describe it. They have looked at the social contract and torn it into confetti. They do not seek to be chosen, they choose. They do not wait for permission, they act. You find this attractive because you are currently a hostage to the opinions of people who don't even know your middle name. You are a prisoner of external validation, while the villain is a sovereign state of one. Your attraction to the dark side is actually a coded cry for help from your own inner king, who is tired of living on the crumbs of a repressed identity. The satirical comedy of your daily life is a landscape of HR-approved smiles and performative empathy. You have become so porous that you let the moods of strangers and the seen receipts of indifferent acquaintances seep into your marrow. You are terrified of being disliked, of being the bad guy in someone else's mundane narrative. Now, look at the villain. They are obsidian. They are hard, reflective, and utterly indifferent to the judgment of the crowd. This is the drug of projection at its peak. You project your desire for emotional sovereignty onto the antagonist. When the Joker laughs at the world's chaos, you are secretly laughing at the absurdity of your own office meetings and the fake polite emails you send every Monday. You aren't a psychopath, you are just a soul in desperate need of a backbone, and you're using the villain as a temporary prosthetic. You are using the antagonist to feel the weight of a crown you've been too afraid to wear. You must confront the uncomfortable reality that your virtue is often nothing more than a lack of opportunity. You call yourself a good person because you haven't been given a scepter, a world to conquer, or a reason to burn the bridge behind you. But the villain is a practitioner of the Machiavellian scalpel. They cut through the fat of social pretension to reach the marrow of reality. While you were busy participating in the drama of the scene receipt, agonizing over why someone didn't validate your latest digital update, the villain is operating in a state of absolute detachment. They don't need your likes, they don't need your approval. They are the personification of the stoic inner citadel. But instead of using it only to endure the world, they use it as a command center to rewrite it. You love them because they represent the version of yourself that stopped asking for permission, the version that realized that the only thing standing between a nobody and a titan is the willingness to be the villain in someone else's poorly written script. Stop lying to yourself about why you find the anti-hero so intoxicating. It isn't because you agree with their methods, it's because you are starving for their agency. You are a captive of a social contract you never signed, but have spent your whole life obeying with the docility of a domestic house cat. You follow the rules of a game where the house always wins, while the villain is the only one who had the courage to flip the table. In the animated comedy of modern life, you are the vector-animated character who waits for the green light even when the road is empty. The villain is the one who realized the light is just a bulb and a piece of glass. Your love for the dark archetype is a projection of your own repressed sovereignty. You are projecting your inner king or queen onto the screen because you are too afraid to wear the crown in your own living room. Every time you root for the antagonist to slip through the fingers of the polite authorities, you are secretly rooting for your own escape from the prison of what will people think. What would happen to your life if you stopped using the villain as a drug and started using them as a blueprint? Projection is a powerful sedative. It allows you to feel powerful by proxy while remaining safely subservient in reality. You watch the alpha villain dominate the room and you feel a rush of dopamine, a temporary relief from your own chronic submissiveness. But this is a trap. You are a psychological vampire, feeding on the reflected glory of a fictional shadow because you are too terrified to face your own. Machiavelli warned that a prince who relies on the strength of others will never be secure. By projecting your strength onto the screen, you are leaving your own citadel undefended. You are the character who dreams of being a lion, but wakes up every morning and practices being a better sheep. Provoke the nice person within you and ask, who does your politeness actually serve? It serves the manipulators who know exactly how to use your guilt to keep you in line. It serves the mediocre majority who need you to stay average so they don't have to feel bad about their own stagnation. Your attraction to the villain is a signal from the deep unconscious that the nice guy or good girl mask is suffocating the life out of you. The villain is the only one in the room who isn't performing. Their power is self-generated, not borrowed. In a world of filtered faces and scripted smiles, the villain's dark authenticity feels more like home than any hero's journey ever could. It is time to stop being a spectator of power and start becoming its architect. The credits roll, the screen fades to black, and you walk out into the cold night air. This is the moment of truth in the Jungian theater. To love the villain is to acknowledge that you possess fangs. To integrate the villain is to decide that those fangs now belong to you and you alone. You are moving from a state of fragmentation, where you are a nice person by day and a resentful ghost by night, to a state of individuation, where you are a whole, formidable, and unshakable entity. Jung famously remarked that he would rather be whole than good, because a good person is a half-person, a creature that has amputated its own capacity for survival. But the whole person, the king who has integrated his darkness, is the only one who can truly practice the stoic virtue of detachment. You no longer fear the predator because you have made friends with the predator in the mirror. You have moved beyond the biological tax of people-pleasing. Your time, your attention, and your energy are no longer public property. They are high-value assets, and you are currently the only stakeholder with voting rights. Society will call you cold or different. They will miss the version of you they could easily manipulate. Let them mourn. Their disappointment is the metric of your liberation. You have reached the Machiavellian peak where your reputation is a shadow you no longer try to catch. You have looked into the dark, shook hands with the monster at the bottom of your soul, and found that he was the only one who truly cared about your success. You are free. You are powerful. You are no longer a victim of projection, but a practitioner of reality. You have achieved the ultimate Stoic victory. The world no longer happens to you. You happen to the world. The most dangerous person in the room is the one who has eaten their own villain and no longer needs a hero to save them.